babe. All right, so I'm going to see. Hey, y'all. Thanks for jumping on the live. We are looking at the state of Idaho v. Bryan Kohlberger. This was an unexpected live that will be starting in a while. So I guess they decided to stream this to the media. So I am going to bring you that information. So, we're talking about the GAG order today. There has been a coalition of media that have basically filed to know and be able to talk to the families to gain more knowledge. So we are just waiting for the court to begin. And I will be looking at some other video real quick in between. So I want to just go ahead and look at 4th District. Let me just see if I can find this real quick. Court live streams. It says it's offline right now. Let's see what happens to Judge Hippler. All right, hold on. It says it is not live right now. It does say this one is offline. Let me go to a different one. I did get the YouTube. I did get that information. So I hope you all are doing amazing well today, for those of you who have joined. And let me just take a peek at this. So I did get a notification that they were going to go live today, which is wild because no one did indicate that they were in fact going live and allowing the public to see this hearing today, which I think is very interesting. So if they do, we will be watching. We are just waiting at this moment for the 4th Idaho District to go live. Let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see what I see. It says it'll begin in 9 minutes and 43 seconds. Remember, this gag order was for the law enforcement. It was also for families. It was also for the attorneys, obviously prosecution. Yep, here it is. Let me go ahead and enlarge this. I'll share my screen with you. And if you haven't seen my videos on why this is so important and who's filed these and for what purpose, you definitely want to go back and watch those, because of the fact this is huge. All the speculation and the secrecy in this case has just been wild, to say the least, especially when you have such, alleged cover-up in this case. How could we actually see what's going on in this case if we can't see what's going on in this case? Hey, Cheryl, welcome in, honey. How can you have transparency and truth in a court of law when everything's supposed to be public? And I just jumped right into it, finding out about this live that's happening. So many of us were under the assumption that we were not going to be able to see this live, and here we are. So welcome in. If you want to watch the live with me, I will be silent. Will the motions are heard. I have a feeling it will be a quick hearing. I don't think there's going to be much objection other than they will probably essentially say, we need to wait until after sentencing. Even if there's perhaps just a little bit of the possibility of a partial gag order to where attorneys won't be able to speak, families, law enforcement, things of that nature may take place. So I want to share my screen with you, and we'll get right into it because this thing is about to begin in about 7 minutes, which is wild. Did anyone else know that they were going to do this live? Anyone at all? I'm sure that it's still getting some information out saying I am alive. I'm alive. I am alive. I'm live. Let me see if it'll let me share my screen. Sometimes this thing is a little touchy. Yep, here we go. Hopefully everybody will be able to see my screen. And let's see what it says. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Yes. Good morning, Vancouver. Yes, they are saying that it will be streamed live. I'm shocked, but I'm sure it's going to be a very quick hearing. There won't be much objection. They'll just decide what dates. And yep, it says court will begin soon. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make this screen big. Perfect timing too, because I was just about to drink my breakfast shake. So good morning to you. I didn't know. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I did not know until I got a notification this morning. So, yeah, I'm like totally shocked. And yes, I did upgrade to premium. Thank you so much for you amazing gifters. If you have just arrived, welcome to the nest, you little nesters. Welcome, welcome. Make sure that you hit the thumbs up, subscribe. It's free. And set notifications to all. And that will let you know when I'm live. I will make sure to cover everything I possibly can. In this case, now that we've got to the stage that we talked about 5 months ago. There wasn't much to say, just a lot to speculate. So we didn't start reporting on this one until 5, 6 months ago. I did in the beginning. There was way too much speculation. I bounced out, said I would be back, and I promised, and here I am. Although, if you follow me on the TikTok streets are pretty vicious. The YouTube streets aren't so bad, but there is a lot of information out there. And if anybody saw Birdie last night on Lana, it was a pretty good show. Very good show. I've got some things to share later today from the book, which I've already done a overview of the docuseries that came out. I will be sharing a little bit of the book later on today, and I do have some scheduled lives. Anybody see the 21 Club that I did? What did you think about that while we're waiting for the live stream to begin? And y'all, it looks like we have approximately 5 minutes. Let me just take a peek at that. 5 minutes. We're just hanging out. It says court will resume soon, and it looks like we're one of the 807 that are waiting for court to start. Cheers. I don't know when my phone, let me go ahead and see. I can maybe make this a little, I wish I could make this a little bigger, guys. Let me just see. Let me take a peek and see if I can make this a bigger screen. Yep, here we go. Let's see if that'll work. Does that help you guys a little bit better? Yeah, much better. All right. let's just take a peek. I'll go ahead and review comments. We've got about 3 minutes to fill in. And hello, Sherry. Is it Cheryl? Oh, Cheryl. Got to get my glasses. Hold on. Yvonne, welcome from Vancouver. I bet it's beautiful out there this morning. Not yet. Still morning. Okay, Claire. Tell me where you're watching from, tuning in from. Hey, Carmick. Good morning. I don't know, so thank you for sharing. Crystal, welcome in. Yeah, I was shocked too when I woke up and I saw that announcement. Cheers, Carmick, cheers. I don't know why my phone added yesterday to my comment. Okay, not sure. Love your picture, by the way. Let's go, let's go. Let's get the show on the road. It's time to unseal. I agree. I wonder what they're hiding. Oh my God, the 27 Club. Did you guys all watch it? The 27 Club on my stream. I didn't know there was a 21 Club, but I do know there's a 27 Club. Washington in the house, Minnesota in the house, Kentucky in the house. Whoop, whoop, Catherine from Australia down under. Afternoon, Carrie. Yakima, Washington. Beautiful place. I've been there. Hello from Fry's new home, West Virginia, Washington. Right, he got a job out there. Isn't that wild? Good afternoon, Becca. Good afternoon. Northwest PA in the house. Carrie, welcome in. So court will begin in a couple of minutes. Just wanted to get through the welcomes. PO in the house. Oh, PA in the house. I was going to say, Becca, you're a PO? Ah, that's funny. You are so welcome, Denise. It's a pleasure to be able to bring this to you. It was one of those things that I was like, whoa, they're going to do a live to the public when everything has been so secret and privated. I'm sure they had a little sidebar hearing yesterday and they all got together and said, let's have this hearing. Let's have it go smooth. And you know what? By the way, we'll go ahead and stream it so everyone can see we're all on the same page. They'll just agree to some certain terms. So I'm going to turn my volume all the way up so everyone could hear the stream well. If you don't have earphones, then you'll just have to get some type of hearing device. Oh, I wish they made those, right? Just like a magnifying device. That would be legit. So let's just wait and see what they have to say to us. And I know I'm on the edge of my seat because we want some of these people to spill the beans. Now, let me ask you, chat, before they come on. Who's the one person that you would like to hear what they really do have to say about this case? One person. Because it's going to be like dominoes. One person's going to come out, then they're going to be fighting and pointing fingers, and that's my prediction. But who's the one person that you would want to hear from in this case? If they could talk. If the families or law enforcement or witnesses can talk, who's the one person that you want to hear from? Because I was under the impression that the witnesses on this docuseries, they weren't supposed to be talking, and they did. So who's the one individual, one person that you would like to be able to hear from? If you had to choose one. And if you had to have an alternative, who would it be? Uh-huh. I would love to hear the roommates. Now, I was thinking, you know, I do best when I'm laying in bed right before I go to bed, and a thought hits me, and then obviously I have to go research. And last night, bam, clear as day. So Dylan says she saw a fireman, and he had some type of canister, and it looked like, I can't remember what the term was used, a canister, a vacuum, some type of vacuum. Now, what if it was one of those black light wands that detect fingerprints? And as they walked around the house or did whatever, they used this wand to erase fingerprints. Oh, vacuum extension. That's what it looked like. But if she didn't know what it was, what if it was a black light that they could go and swipe and clean up fingerprints at a crime scene. It's okay, I'm here to help you. And didn't bother her. Sounds like a professional. Even if it was a container that carried a sword or a knife. Interesting thought. So that's that's totally what runs through my mind at night. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world, all you little nesters. So, yeah, so I thought maybe it was a container for a sword, kind of like how some people have those sharps container at home for diabetes, insulin, syringes, and shots. What if it was a container for the sword or the knife or several knives? And or what if it was one of those ultraviolet lights? Because some people look like we're wearing gloves, right? There was gloves outside found with blood in it or on it. And those are two of the things that I kind of felt could have possibly been it. But if you could talk to one person in this case, who would it be if the gag order is lifted for witnesses and families, but not law enforcement, or the simple fact they might not be lifted yet for the courts and the attorneys and law enforcement? Who would you want to hear from? If you could interview one person, who would it be? Because we all have inquiring minds here. That's why we're here. We're a group of like-minded people that want to know the truth to this. As vulgar as this sounds, I need to see the bodies. Bingo. That's probably where I would start, Karmic, because no bodies, no story. Brent K. I saw some videos this morning that they think he might still be alive. Do you think Brent K is alive? Drop your thoughts. Drop your thoughts. I know the rumor now is that they think Maddie's alive because of Christie's slip up, and also allegedly that KG may be alive because of the fact that someone has found her record of address and it shows she's 24, although that does come from credit agencies that are usually updated. And Christy did just buy a new house in Coeur d'Alene, guys. And Steve G, public information via Venmo, thank you, has been remodeling a bathroom at another rental property that they own. So is this just some money-making scheme story, or did people really lose their lives? First of all, autopsies. I don't think they'll ever unseal that information. But who's the one person that you would think that would tell you the most truth that you need to know? I would like to talk with Bryan Koberger. And I'm not talking about the guy in the jail cell, the picture we see that doesn't match the guy in court. I want to talk to the Bryan Koberg that we see in court, all tanned and clipped and shaven and groomed. That's where my mind goes. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Because that picture does not match gettingout.com request for a video conference with Bryan Koberger. Is this guy an actor? Who is this guy? A stand-in? Is he an agent? I mean, what's the deal, guys? What's the deal? Some of these people don't even look like they did 6, 7 months ago. Have you seen the interview with Kara, Xana's mom? She looks amazing. She looks great. And it just takes me back to thinking about how bad the police department wanted Miss Molly, DoorDash driver, alleged, off the street and into rehab, right? Off the street and into rehab. So what's the real deal? What is the real deal? Court is still not began. I sure hope it does. Let me make sure we are up to date. Nope, nothing going on yet. Let me refresh my stream too, just to make sure nothing is going on. Now, if you could talk to one of the law enforcement officers, who would that be? Who would you want to talk to if you could possibly talk to one of the law enforcement officers? Yeah, I agree, Marion. Kara does look good. She looks like she's getting the help she needs. My theory's out there, but I think it's a life insurance fraud. Holy moly. I didn't even think about that one. I think somebody said that a little while back ago, but why would they do that? And how would they benefit? I mean, other than money, is it worth it? I mean, they could be possibly, um, it could be fraud if that's true, right? Then obviously a lot of agencies would get involved if it was factual. That's just weird. That's weird, y'all. Why would somebody go to the great lengths to do that, to commit fraud? That's just really odd. All right, it says court will begin soon. We are just waiting, and I do hope they bring it directly to us, because if I got this notification, jumped up here and did all this, something better be happening. Court TV's music is scary as hell right now. What did they do, Granny? Steve needed the money he owned, but I don't think it was worth 700,000 bucks, right? Wasn't that the alleged amount? To interview Fry would be interesting after this gag's dropped. Oh, true. True, true. I would probably want to interview Payne. I would definitely agree with interviewing Payne. Oh, you didn't miss anything, Aaron. Welcome into the nest. Yeah, little nester, welcome in. I have Court TV, and it's not on that yet either. Yeah, it's not live yet. It will be. I'm watching on 2 different devices just to make sure. Steve, it looks like a horror movie. Oh my gosh, they're just selling this narrative hard. I'm almost done with the book, and it's interesting. You know, it does say in the beginning it is fiction. Okay, here we go, guys.
All right, we are on the record in State v. Kohberger, CR 0124-31665. Present today by video is the defendant in custody with counsel, Ms. Taylor, Ms. Barlow, and Ms. Massoth. State is represented by Mr. Thompson, Mr. Hurwitz, and Ms. Jennings. On behalf of the media petitioners, we have Ms. Olson and Mr. Pedersen. Today's hearing is to discuss the media's request to terminate the non-dissemination order. The state filed a response indicating it was no longer objecting to that, and the defense did file an objection indicating that they do have a continued objection to lifting the non-dissemination order. I've read the briefs that have been provided by the parties, and I'm going to attempt to shortcut things here a little bit by asking whether the defense, who is the objecting party, has anything additional to add beyond what it had in its briefing before. I don't know that I need to hear from, frankly, the petitioner. I think the briefing was adequate, so let me just start with Ms. Taylor to see if there's anything else she wants to add.
Your Honor, there is not, but if there's further argument, Ms. Barlow will be making that argument on behalf of the defense.
All right. And to be fair, Ms. Olson, was there anything you felt was important to add that was not contained within your briefing?
Your Honor, we would just briefly say in response to the defendant's brief, we certainly understand the expressed concern about the media coverage of their client. We don't think continuing the non-dissemination order helps that at all. It simply continues to limit the ability of the members of the press to reach out to the people who know the most about the case. It doesn't obligate them to say anything. We also understand that they expressed that there was a due process right related to the sentencing. I read the case that they submitted. I think that there is obviously a due process right at sentencing, but I don't think that case is really it doesn't provide any guidance to the court here, because that was about information provided to the court. And given the very limited scope, and we understand it's very important, but given the very limited scope, what's to be decided at the sentencing, we don't think the arguments that Mr. Kohberger made should outweigh at this stage the First Amendment rights of our clients. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, in light of that response by the media outlets or interested outlets, Ms. Barlow, do you want to add anything?
I would only say, Your Honor, as this court is well aware, the publicity in this case is so extensive and emotions are already so high that adding fuel to the fire of media interviews or a rush to interview people as they leave the courthouse or enter the courthouse would only increase the concerns that the defense has. And even though the plea has a specific sentence attached to it, as this court is well aware, things happen in plea hearings and, sentencing hearings. And to minimize the possibility of that, we request that this order stay in place.
All right, thank you. All right, as the court has considered the petition, frankly, the court was prepared at the time the plea was entered to lift the non-dissemination order in order to give the parties time to evaluate that and to ensure I wasn't missing anything. When both sides objected, I agreed to continue the non-dissemination order. I also indicated that I would have the potential to look at that again before sentencing, because frankly, I anticipated the motion from somebody, in this case, the Ms. Olson and her clients, was likely to be coming. At this point, I do not believe the purpose of the non-dissemination order, the primary purpose, which is to ensure that we can seat a impartial jury, is any longer at play. The concerns identified by the defendant, while certainly not to minimize those, they are concerns and they are significant concerns. I do not think, however, the non-dissemination order and the right of the public to information is outweighed or outweighs those rights, I should say. And frankly, I don't think that lifting the non-dissemination order will meaningfully impact those concerns. I mean, the media frenzy, as it has been described, will continue regardless. It is a little bit like a, water will find low ground. In this case, the media is going to write about something regardless about this case. The lifting the non-dissemination order does not require the counsel or others who were previously bound by it to speak. And the state has indicated that they don't intend to until ongoing at the sentencing. We intend to have, as we did before, appropriate security measures in place to ensure that they, as well as the victims, are allowed to get in and out unscathed by the media, if that's what they wish to do, or if they wish to speak to the media, they can do that as well. At this point, I just don't think that I can justify the continuation of the non-dissemination order. I think the rights of the public to information in this case is paramount, given the fact that a plea has been entered in this case. And so I'm going to lift the non-dissemination order. But I want to point out what that means and what it doesn't mean. So obviously, nobody's required to speak to the media, first of all. Second of all, I want to be clear that the court's prior preservation order to the parties is not lifted and continues to stay in place. And so it's important to understand that those obligations still exist. And then the other thing I want to point out is that by lifting the non-dissemination order, that does not convert sealed documents to unsealed documents. Documents previously sealed by the court are still sealed. Now, I see the media also filed a petition to be heard to unseal everything. I'm denying that outright, the request to intervene, because I think it's premature at this point. So the court will its intent is to, after sentencing, begin the process of reviewing all the sealed material in this case to determine what should be unsealed and what should not be unsealed. That process will include an opportunity for counsel to register any objections to unsealing documents, specific documents, and request to redact certain sealed documents before they are unsealed, or unseal them in a redacted form. I intend to do that in groupings of documents at a time. As I sit here now, my thought is I'm going to start from newest to oldest because those are the ones that I have the most working knowledge of as to the reason for the sealing of the documents, as well as the content of those documents. And so I think I can get through those more quickly. As we move backward in time, it's going to take further, more extensive review by the court to figure out, to obviously review the content of those documents, listen to those hearings, et cetera, and determine why they were sealed and whether that rationale still is necessary, or that rationale still requires the documents to maintain that sealed status. And so before everybody gets out their pen and paper and sends in public records requests, understand those will be denied for sealed records until they are unsealed. And that process is going to take time. And I'm not talking days. I'm probably not talking weeks for that to be accomplished. So I hope people understand patience will be to get through that, as I'm going to have to review those myself to make those decisions. Now, we may be able to speed things up if neither party objects to groupings of documents or specific documents being unsealed. But it's important to review those because those documents may include information that, pursuant to Rule 32, are not to be made public, including birth dates, social securities, information about minors and victims, and information that would be essentially inappropriate to unseal, including protection of individuals from undue harassment, et cetera. And so that's just going to take time. In addition, I'm unlikely to unseal much until after sentencing and after the appeals period has run. Now, I recognize the plea agreement includes a waiver of the right to appeal, but as the parties probably know, the U.S. Supreme Court in Garza versus Idaho has indicated the fact that a defendant waives the right to appeal doesn't mean they don't have the right to appeal. And so it may affect the outcome of that appeal, and it may affect the underlying case and the plea agreement. But nonetheless, the right to appeal does not go away because of the waiver. And so I think it is important for that time period to also play itself out to see that it goes the way that I think people intend and expect it to. And so I will be entering an order in the next week or so outlining the process for the review of the sealed records. And council will need to maintain a presence in the case in order to review those materials as they are proposed to be unsealed by the court. Because the timeline that I will likely give you will not be, I suspect, extensive as for each group of records. So I might give you 14 days, for example, to provide a response as to a group of, a dozen or a couple dozen records at a time. So just sort of heads up and fair play with respect to that. Any questions by the parties about the ruling today?
Not from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
No questions from the defense. Thank you.
So Olson, do you have any questions?
And I don't, Your Honor. I wasn't certain if I was included within the parties. I would just say I think that the court's proposed manner of moving forward on the sealed records will likely largely address our interests, and we appreciate the court setting that out in this hearing today.
Yeah. If certain records after review maintain their sealed status, it would be at that point that I would entertain requests for me to consider that more formally and to have a voice in that. But I think until I've gone through that process, it's premature, which is why I don't intend to take up your motion, your more recent filed motion at this time. So,
thank you, Your Honor. We appreciate that.
All right. And with that, then we are adjourned. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Absolutely. Someone. All right, y'all, you saw it here first. And absolutely, I will certainly do a breakdown because we knew that going into this hearing. That simply, can y'all hear me? I will probably do a breakdown because we knew going into this hearing about, half an hour ago that they were going to stream this live. And also, I can do a breakdown because we did talk about Garza v. Idaho about, gosh, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago. We had a brilliant defense attorney, and she was giving us a breakdown in Birdie's Live, and we kind of knew going into this, see, there's still some federal rights that you have. There's still some appeals that you have just because you take a plea deal. And I have a prediction that before the 23rd, we're going to see some crazy stuff may happen at the sentencing because of the fact, hold on a minute. I don't know where that's coming from. Okay. So sorry, I was had somebody playing something in my ear from YouTube. So, I think this is going to get even more interesting now that we're going to see this media frenzy that I talked about yesterday and the day before. You're going to see some people speak out, but you're going to see some people stay silent. These people's phones are going to ring off the hook. He didn't specify law enforcement. He didn't specify attorneys. He didn't specify only witnesses can talk, only victims' family members. He lifted this gag order for all. I've already had people send me screenshots that TMZ is trying to reach out to them for days. So I know that they are out there already on the prowl. So when you think about this case and we want more transparency, you're not going to get more transparency. There will be eventually at some point redacted statements, but here's the clues to look for. You're going to see some of these creators getting redacted documents. Documents already have been starting to leak, which is wild because people want the story out there. Where there is truth, you will see some leaks. definite leaks. And I have a feeling that one day, like I've already predicted before, if Kohberger is truly innocent, he will be exonerated, just as he said. So I really appreciate you tuning in. If you can, make a quick super chat or a donation to keep this channel rolling. You did see I upgraded to premium, so I'm excited about that. We don't have to watch any more commercials here. And if you have a comment, just drop it below. If you have any questions, feel free to send it to my email, which is in my bio, which you can find here easily. And, you know, the next step of this is the actual jury, the actual sentencing. No jury. The judge will be the jury at sentencing. So, as always, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. It is free. And put all notifications to all. Take care, all you early nesters, and be well.